Hello, so today we are working on an iPhone 14 Pro that is currently dead. It doesn't power on, it doesn't charge. It comes from a different repair shop where they try to address an issue with the phone not being able to see the 5 gigahertz wireless networks, and they did some work on the board. I don't know exactly what they did, but the phone is not working at all anymore. So let's have a look at it. We can see the phone right here. We have the power supplies on the screen. We're interested in the first one, which is the main power supply for the USB. I'm gonna connect it and see what's going on. Yeah, the phone doesn't show anything on the screen. The phone doesn't look bad. I understand that first thing it was in the service to replace the back of the phone because it was cracked. Then it had issues with Wi-Fi, and then they tried to address the issue, but unfortunately the phone died. I don't know what they did. But as you can see there, the phone is trying to do something, then it goes back to zero, see? And then again it's trying to do something which suggests there is a sort of a short circuit. Now what we have to do is basically open the phone and have a look at the board, eventually split the boards and identify if the issue is with the top board or the bottom board. So to open this phone we need several screwdrivers. I have here all of them. This is the pentalobe, this is the Philips one, this is the tri-wing, and this is, I don't know how it's called, whatever, doesn't matter. We need basically for these 4 screws for iPhones. Also what we need is a storage box where we can put the screws. Yeah, so I'm gonna use this type of box. I find them quite useful. And I'm gonna open the bottom, I'm gonna remove the bottom screws. Good. Put this aside because we don't need it for a second. And now we need to heat up the phone so that we don't put a lot of stress on the screen when we remove it. So first thing first, I'm gonna get a heated mat. Yeah, so we have the heat mat right here. I'm using the mechanic. The heat mat is set to 70 degrees, so as I power it on, it starts to warm up, right? So I'm gonna put the phone like display down, and I'm gonna wait about a couple of minutes for it to cool off, to heat up, sorry. So once this heats up, we're gonna use this tool. I find it extremely useful. It's a Refox RS50. I never had issues with it, so before using it I was using different options, and especially when I was a beginner I was using only the let me show you, only this type of blades to open the screen, but I had unfortunately some failures where I damaged the screen, like had stripes on it, and then I invested in this tool. This is very nice. I didn't have any sort of issues since using it. I've never damaged the display. So now this phone is heating up. I'm gonna wait some more. It's not as warm as I would like. I'm gonna pause the video and resume when it's warmer. Alright, so I think it is warm enough now. I'm gonna turn this mat off, pull it aside. Yeah, and once the phone is still pretty good heated up, I'm gonna force it like this. And then we connect the suction cup, and with this large screw, as you see, I'm gonna gently lift up the screen because this was opened before. It's coming out really easy. You can always use some IPA here on the sides of the screen. This will help the screen going out easier. Good. So we can see that the screen is already lifted. Now I'm gonna remove the suction cup, remove this one. Perfect. So we have the screen opened. And now we can proceed with removing all the screws. And we're gonna start with a big shield. It's missing a lot of screws. Also, it has a tri-wing. Here it has a Phillips screw, which is not correct. So whoever worked on this did a shitty job. But yeah, you know, that's life. You can't always expect people to really behave and do a proper nice job. I don't understand why they are not very organized, maybe, or what stops them in actually doing a good job and preserving all the screws from where they came, because also these have different lengths. So see, I always put them in different how do you call this, in different holes here, so I know their order and where they came from. Yeah, I don't really like working on butchered phones. It's not my thing, but sometimes we need to do this too. Especially now in January when the work is a bit slow. Oh my god, this board looks really bad. So I'm gonna remove the screen now, because I don't care for the screen. This was already disconnected. The next thing we can do is actually put a power supply. They didn't even remove those foam thingies that are around the connectors. Well, some of them were removed, but this one at the battery, I don't see it removed. So let's see if we can get this power supply cable over here. Yeah, I think this is the correct one for this model. Good. So let me bring back the instruments on the screen. Yeah, so now we will look at the second one here, which is the main supply. I'm gonna turn it on in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we don't see any obvious short. It's staying at 4.1 volt, 0 amps. Now I'm gonna try to power on the phone by pressing the button here. Yeah, and we see an instant 600 milliamps current draw. I'm gonna stop it because that's not healthy. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a lot lower. Good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the board and we're gonna move under the microscope maybe, or maybe we can proceed just directly desoldering the boards. But I would like to see how the board looks after somebody worked on it. It would be pretty interesting to see. I like it, but I usually get a lot disappointed because I like when a phone looks good and it was worked properly and it looks really, really clean. This one, I don't know, if they didn't remove this foam, I don't like this thing. It will look bad, but we're gonna see. We have to remove the speaker here, and once we remove the speaker we'll be able to take out the board. Also I'm gonna remove the SIM tray. Good. So I'm gonna be back once everything is removed. Okay, so we have the board removed from the phone. I can already see the mess. Here it's filled with black thing. I don't know, I think the flux they used was really weird, bad. I don't know if it makes any sense to have a look under the microscope. Yeah, let me... Microscope is on one side, so I don't wanna go there. But look, this is how it looks. Really weird. Yeah, so here they haven't removed that foam thing. Right here. And overall it looks really bent, really bad. It is also bent. The back was smashed, and this board is, I don't know if you can see it, but it is bent like this. It's in a sort of a U shape. Now I'm gonna take the iRepair MS1. I know I had some requests to make a video about the way I use it, but I never have the time for it. I'm gonna use a plate. Let me get the 14 series plate. Yeah, so it's actually the first one. Good, let me set it apart. And because this was already removed, well, the boards were split. I think they used some lower melt, well, I hope they did. They used some lower melt solder. So this is so bent, and I think it has some old stickers here, glue, I don't know what is it. But I can feel it's not staying properly flush with this stencil, but yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna connect this to power like this, and I'm gonna power it on. Yeah, so now it's set to 240 seconds and 190 temperature. I'm gonna set it to 230, so it goes a bit faster, and now we're gonna wait. Usually at some point I'm also using some hot air here, but I'm not gonna use it now because I believe it already had some different solder, like a lower melt one. So I'm gonna pause the video for now and resume once the board is heated up, so we can actually split the boards. Also, it's at about 180 degrees Celsius. Now, if they used lower melt solder, this should come off, and I think it does. Well, maybe not. No, that's bad. I don't understand. They just rebuild it. Have a new setup here, and I don't know if I can get the hot air on this area. Usually I do this under the microscope, but now that I'm filming under the microscope, you won't be able to see anything. So they definitely did use some bad solder, or they maybe didn't even reball it. So we're now at 209. And this is not moving. This is annoying. So I'm gonna restart the timer and I'm gonna use 350 R to see if it loosens it. I'm just gonna use it around the interposer. But this is bad news. So once they use this type of solder, I think it's starting to come off. They already heated it up too much. Yeah, good. So now the boards are off. I'm gonna take them aside, stop this, and let's go under the microscope and see how it looks. With the board under the microscope, I'm first gonna check, because I told you I wanna see if the problem was actually the top board or the bottom board with that high power consumption. So I'm gonna first check here and see if we have any shorts on these pads around the board, because I want to power on the board and see how only the top board behaves. This is terrible looking. It has flux all over the place, and you see that this flux is corrosive, because see these caps where they turn like gray here, here, they all look pretty bad. So this is what happens when you don't properly clean the boards. But yeah, that's it. Nothing more to say there. As I said, this was not removed, and now it has really melted here. I hate when this happens. It's all melted around the connector. The rest of them I see they have been removed. Good, so let's bring the instruments on the screen. Good, and let's connect the power supply. I'm gonna connect the power supply here on the battery connector. Right, and you can see the power supply is the second one here on the top. I'm gonna power it on, and let's try to prompt it to boot. I never remember which one is the power on button. Yeah, so we have 600 milliamps directly. So the problem is with our top board, they fucked up something here, and that is really, really bad. Really, really bad. They have probably overheated the board because they didn't use the proper alloy, and something most probably breached. We need to see with the thermal camera what's heating up. Yeah, I think I will have to remove this. Let's have a look on the bottom. So I don't understand exactly what they did, because the Wi-Fi is on the top board on this model, and definitely the Wi-Fi chip was not removed, because we can see it here. Somebody said they tried to reball or change it, but the Wi-Fi is here. This has never been removed off the board. So let me put it in a holder, and let's try to heat up that. I'm gonna heat up the black thingy that's above and try to remove it clean. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. So I'm heating up this area. attempt to actually remove this sticker here. I want it properly removed. So if this had issues with Wi-Fi, I don't understand why were they removing. Why did they split the boards? Well, so that was removed. The Wi-Fi chip is here. I'm actually trying to see. Let me set up this microphone because it's a bit in my way. I'm actually trying to see if there are some balls popping out of the parts around them, but I can't see any issue, and I don't know why we have that big power consumption when we prompt it to boot. Instead of 120 something milliamps, we have like 600, which is bad. Also here I can't see traces of being extremely hot, except that it's very dirty. Usually you see balls popping out, like on these parts where we have the underfill. Some balls will pop out, but not in this case. This looks relatively well. So I think the next sensitive thing is to actually get a thermal camera and see what's heating up. So let me share with you this screen. Okay, and we're gonna start the thermal camera, but first I need to find it. Okay, let's connect it. Okay, so the thermal camera is connected. Let me connect the power supply to the board. Okay, and let's power on. Now it's gonna be a bit difficult because I will power it on like this and see if there's something getting hot here. Not really. And here we can see a coil getting hot, and that coil and the CPU. That's not great. So it was, I think, this coil here that was first getting hot. Okay, and now that's weird. It jumped down to 71 milliamps. Why? That's interesting. Okay, let's power it on again. Yeah, and now it stays at 50 milliamps, and that suggests a DFU mode. Yeah, I think the CPU is shot at this point. I think they heated it up too bad, and something got disconnected. Let's see what that coil that was initially heating up because obviously now we don't get the 600 milliamps, we just get 50 milliamps, and I think that's just an issue with the DFU. So it was this coil here that was heating up, I think. Let's look on the board view. Okay, so we have iPhone series 14 Pro motherboard. Okay. This takes a minute to load. Let's rotate it. And let's see what that coil was. Which one was it? I think this one. Yeah, CPU. So why did we had that feedback? And now it doesn't happen and it stays in DFU. So it is possible because yeah, you can see here are some of these resistors here have that solder balls a bit on the side, so that would tell me that it's been overheated, the CPU. So that's really bad news. Really bad news, and I don't understand how they could have done that. But it is possible that when the back was broken, it is possible that they have damage, that also the CPU was disconnected from the board or something like that, but I don't like the power consumption. So why did we have the 600 unless they overheated it? Yeah, so now it's in DFU. Something went really wrong. Now the option would be actually to resolder the CPU, but the cost would be bigger, so I will need to check with the customer and see if they agree with it. Yeah, this is very unfortunate. Okay, let's see what the customer says. So this has just turned into an SD repair. Yeah, we got the okay to work on the CPU. Now, this is not something I enjoy doing, but let's see where it takes us. On the broken phones, there's a high possibility other things are also wrong. I need to fix this as best I can, the best I can. Good. So now I'm gonna first get rid of the underfill, overfill, or whatever that is. I'm gonna use like 240 here. And I'm gonna slowly hit the entire board first. Yeah, it is possible it was overheated, especially maybe they didn't even use hot air on on the CPU directly. Maybe they used a lot of heat to split the boards or to solder them back. As you saw, they didn't use a low melt solder. So I find that weird. Because if you try to reball it using the original solder, which is extremely high temp, you just fucked up a capacitor there. Or whatever that part was. I'm gonna have to look later and see. me use the blade here. Good. That capacitor went out. Another one here. I don't really care about those. Do you see something? Alright. Good. I need to take care of this corner here. Okay, it's good. And this one here. Good. I think everything is okay. Let me see the other corners here. I've moved the board. Okay, it's back in place. I have this corner here to handle. Good. So now, while everything is hot, let me cover the PMIC with some copper thingy, and let's remove the CPU. I'm gonna try to do it fast. And here is our huge problem, see? So all this die is from the CPU and all the pads are freaking ripped off. Yeah. So that is our main problem. This is a goner. Well, so this is how things can go bad sometimes. This is it. This happens when you handle phones that have been broken. This is the risk. You must tell your clients that this risk is expected, because it can be that your client comes with a phone for you, for a back repair, for example. When the back is broken, you get the phone, you repair it, then you notice there's something wrong with the board, and then you attempt a board repair. But all those phones that are cracked and have physical damages are most likely to have issues at the board level, and the CPU is the most difficult one to fix. Well, in this case you saw that there are half of the pads ripped, so there's nothing there to be done. But you need to tell your customers if the phone is working, back it up, get your data off it. I don't guarantee that the phone will still work after we heat it up, after we split the boards. All that heat will not do anything good on the components that belong to a board that was already cracked. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give me a like, subscribe if you didn't already, and see you next time. Bye.